It's a beehive up there. I know, I'm just walking the neighborhood. Getting familiar. It's a wild big one. It's cool. From doing the Long Island stuff, we know how much they're close to roads, so I want to see how much that applies all over. This does not look like it's as far as signs go. This is right across the street. So. Once again, there's a lot of cut wood in here, so you gotta, well, I don't know if you got it, but I wonder how much further this actually came out. Pretty hefty game trail. I've seen a deer coming through the front up here. It's pouring rain today, by the way. I forget. Once I get outside, I'm like, I don't know, I'm in my element no matter what the weather. I was cold in the house, believe it or not. I was complaining about I was cold inside the house. So look at this. This actually splits up. There's a house up there, but this doesn't look like they're props. So, there's a couple of trails going through here. I can't tell if they're just strictly game trails or not, but I don't see any postings. This ends up being good back here. I might have to get to know the neighbors so they don't worry about who's in the back of the house. Somebody definitely comes back here and cuts this up, so I would too if all this woods was behind mine. Looks like there's some water buildup back in here. It's still really early in the morning, so I don't really know. I don't know how long I'm gonna last out here. I gotta get some breakfast and we gotta go to the store. I don't know what that is over there on the ground. Oh, maybe it's a rock. It might just be an exposed rock. was saying before, see all the water in here? It's like, it just builds up. Trees in here. It's gonna be hard. I mean, we could work our way through more that way, but this rain's getting really heavy, so I'm gonna have to double back. I'm having trouble. I can't even post, so it's unfortunate, but the Wi-Fi ain't too great. Well, there is no Wi-Fi. The service isn't too great. Looks like this tree, you know what I mean? Like, actually, Adirondack Bushmaster did a video on different trees that are natural shelters. It was one of the first things I was showing. I was caught out in a storm, and Sasquatch showed me, like, where to go, and it was under this green tree. I had no idea what the hell they were talking about. I had no faith at that point, really, that tree was gonna keep me dry, and it did. And it looks like there's like a whole big area right here, and maybe even right there where, I don't know, like it looks like there's been something posted up in here. And it actually looks like there's some chopped firewood down here too. And maybe it's put here because it stays dry. I'm not really sure. Alright, yeah, let's back out a little bit, because I'm without gear and without antlers, so I can do without maybe one, but not both. Some big impressions in here. It's pretty badass. Sorry if I'm a little groggy. It's like 7 in the morning. Saturday, pouring rain. Look at this. I mean, this could just be a coincidence, but it kind of looks like a heel and a print going up. It wouldn't be big though, see? I don't think this is the way we came in, but I would have remembered all this rock. So much chopped wood. I guess people chop wood for their fireplace, but maybe they leave the big stuff, the big old log part, and they take the smaller pieces because it's easier to carry off. Oh, look at that. This is where the water comes through. Look. Makes sense now. Goes all the way through, I guess. Some nice exposed rock up there. I love the big rock faces. Some of them are massive, like they're hundreds of feet tall. I mean, this one's about 3 of me. We'll continue on this. I think it's pretty much woods on this side, and then I'm gonna continue down on our side of the street too, and go around back and check those woods too. I don't know what I'll get to today, but being it was so wet, I figured I'd stay on the road, kind of. See that? That's cool, right? They do that like up here in Connecticut and stuff. I know, like in a town called Stonington in Connecticut, they actually like brought all the rock. It looks like they're like rock fences, but what happened was they were farmers, and basically they just carried all the rocks. They cleared the fields, and they carried all the rocks to the edge of the fields, and they just placed them. And it ended up just turning out that way. They went up to the edge of their property line and just kept placing the rocks because they wanted them off their fields so they could have maximum space to use for farmland. And it ends up literally looking like this throughout the whole town, hence the name Stonington. But I mean, obviously they do it in other places. We'll get up close to this rock a little bit. I see an opening in here, which is pretty badass. Maybe not. Maybe it's just a little bit of a crevice, but yeah, it's not a massive, it's not massive indent, but look at that moss. It's crazy cool. Alright guys, I'm gonna go back and get wifey, go get some breakfast, do some people things. I'm sure a couple of you are screaming to look up there. Oh, we'll do that quick before we go. I didn't see anything with my eyes, but it don't mean there's nothing there. Where I was looking is coming up in a second. There's a down log that's going uphill. You'll see it. That one too. But this giant log here, you see that? It actually fell uphill. So to me, that just don't add up. Don't add up to anything. Storm-wise, I should say. Oh, it looked like there was some eyes in there for a sec. Dark eyes. What the fuck, man? As soon as I turn my back, something slapped. So something moved up here. It was small, but you can't write that off just because it was small. I hear a crow. Just like 2 isolated calls from over there. It got really quiet out here. Like really quiet. I'm standing in the middle of a road and it got quiet. feel like I'm in that isolation bubble, if that makes sense. But I'm in shock because I'm standing in the middle of the road. I don't think I've ever had that happen before. I've had it happen when there was people around when we were in a brush, but I mean, I contributed that to like their abilities with the veil, like they're able to close it off and ambient sound with it. But man, if that's what just happened, I'm not saying it is because I really don't know, but I don't have a solid answer for you. But if that is what just happened, I'd have to rethink a lot of that. But ain't that part of the whole Sasquatch experience? Every time you get an answer, there's more to it. Every time you think you got something good, shut it down. It's a lot of mistakes. A lot of mistakes. It's kind of humorous to me when, I think it's humorous to a lot of people when they act like they know it all. But like we said once, we'll say it again, fuck them. Just learn your sources. That's it. Always know your source. Pay attention to your source. If your source is saying he's got the best answers in the world, but he hates everybody else and they're all wrong, and or he's like they're like erratic, or fuck man, there's so many. I've seen this so many times where like people just make it seem like they're the only ones with the answers. And in reality, that's impossible. It's true. It's physically impossible because we all have our own journey and our own path. Look at that guy. See him? Oops. Of course, a raindrop hit. Looks like I can't see the top of his head, but looks like it might be like a nose and maybe a closed mouth and a couple of eyes. It's hard to say if it's a Sasquatch, but whatever it is, it's big if it is some. I always enjoy a strong finish, so I don't know if that's good enough for me, but we have to take what they give us, right? We have to consider this as a completely new area too, so last time I was up here it was pretty awesome too, but anyway, this is the continuance of searching the Catskills. Just a little short. You see how much we did? To the bottom of this hill, probably a good 100 yards. You could do this, guys. You could do this. Anyway, you can make a difference. You can get out in nature. You can meet up with Sasquatch. It doesn't always have to be in the middle of nowhere, especially around a structure, etc. I have the next best video, next best picture. That's why I always say don't get cocky. Alright, you guys rock. Thank you so much. Talk soon. Thank you.